Hello! Today we're going to make another anchor chart for the science section of our notebook. For this anchor chart, you're going to need a sheet of paper and something to write with. I prefer you to use a pencil, colored pencils, or ink pens. I do not suggest crayons because we're going to be writing some words on here and we want it to be able to show up. So the title of this anchor chart we're going to write at the very top, and it's going to be called Variables. This week we've been learning about the scientific method, and part of the scientific method, when we're talking about our actual experiment, what we're doing, we have to use variables. So I'm going to kind of make my word cute so it will stand out on my page. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. This is just something extra that I'm going to add. So the title of this anchor chart is Variables. We're going to learn about 3 different types of variables today. The first variable that we're going to learn is called an independent variable. And watch what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to put the I in block lettering, and I'm going to make it a different color than the rest of my statement. And you're going to see why in just a few minutes. This is called the independent variable. And this is called the independent variable because it means that you change it. So whenever you are doing the experiment, whatever I change is going to be the independent variable. So watch what I'm going to write right here. I'm going to write this is going to be what I change in the experiment. What I change. So, earlier when we were doing our scientific method anchor chart, we talked about 2 different types of plants. We talked about one type of plant that got water, and we talked about one type of plant that did not get any water. So this plant got water, this plant did not get water. Well, in that experiment, what I changed was I changed the amount of water that each plant got. I made sure this plant got some water and this plant did not get any water. The next type of variable that we're going to talk about is the dependent variable. The dependent variable. And the dependent variable is what depends on what I changed. So what depended on the amount of water? Did the color of the plant depend on how much water it got? Did the height of the plant depend on how much water it got? So the dependent variable is what I observe. What did I see happening? And just for fun, I'm going to draw this. I'm going to draw a magnifying glass with an eye. What did I observe? So I'm looking through a magnifying glass. What did I observe when I did that experiment? And the last type of variable that we're going to learn about today is the controlled variable. And controlled variable is what I keep the same. Would it be fair if I use an experiment and I'm trying to see which plant can grow the tallest, but I use a tree for one plant and I use a cactus for another plant? Do cactuses usually grow as large as trees? Probably not. So controlled is what I keep the same experiment. I need to make sure that I'm using the same type of plant when I did my experiment. So in order for us to remember that controlled means what I kept the same, what we're going to do is we're going to draw 3 beakers. And a beaker is a container that holds liquids when we're doing science experiments. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that all of our beakers have the same amount of liquid in them. Let's have it go up to that second line to show that control variables are things that stay the same in an experiment. Okay, again, this anchor chart is going to go in the science section of your notebook. Okay, so you're going to put this in the science section of your notebook, and you're going to use this to refer back to for the next few weeks when we're talking about the scientific method. Have a great day.